Alright, ladies and gentlemen, I'm here on the channel. Probably second last video tonight. I'll probably do a news video later tonight. But I want to do my 3.0 NFL mock draft. I've done all my recaps on my NASCAR season preview out of the way. I'll throw my recaps that season preview, and so I'll do my mock draft here. So I want to do my third one. I don't know how many I'll end up with. Maybe like 5 or 6. But yeah, we're going to start with the Tennessee Titans with the number 1 pick. It's kind of still like between, for me, it's like between Travis Hunter, Abdul Carter, and Cam Ward. So I still really think they need a quarterback. Are they going to roll with Will Levis? I don't know. Abdul Carter. But they've talked to Shedeur Sanders as well. But with this one, I'm going to go with Cam Ward. I really think they can take a quarterback here at number 1. I don't know if Will Levis is a guy for the future. I think Cam Ward's the best quarterback out of this draft class. If you want to draft a quarterback, you're going to draft Cam Ward. I think he has the best arm in this class, and he was really good at Miami. And he's been good throughout his whole college career. I always thought he was one of the more underrated college quarterbacks. I didn't think he would be a future number 1 pick, but how things change. Number 2 with the Cleveland Browns, I really think they're going to trade Myles Garrett. I know he's requested a trade. They don't want to trade him, but I feel like they will. They could use a quarterback here, but I would not use the second pick on Shedeur Sanders here. I just don't think he's worth it. I don't know if he's that good. If they need a quarterback desperately, but you could also maybe use another corner, but your corners are good, like Denzel Ward, Emerson. Like, you got some good corners. Their defense got worse, though. I'm going to take Abdul Carter here at number 2. I think they could use another edge rusher. I know you got Myles Garrett, but you could also use another edge rusher. And I think Abdul Carter could be possibly the best player in this draft class. Number 3, the New York Giants. Quarterback, I think they're going to take Shedeur Sanders here. I don't know if Shedeur is worth the top 3 pick. Some people might have a first round grade on him. But look, my thing is the Giants are desperate for a quarterback. They take Shedeur here. I mean, behind a bad offensive line, I mean, he had that through his 2 years at Colorado. Sometimes he does hold the ball too long, has plays where he gets himself sacked. But his arm, I don't think it's as bad as people say. I think it's kind of average, but I don't think it's that bad. But the Giants need a quarterback. I think they take Shedeur. Number 4, I think it's the picker for the Patriots, Travis Hunter. We'll see what he does in the NFL. Will he play wide receiver and cornerback? Will he play both positions? We'll see. I like him. I think he's better as a cornerback than a receiver. But we'll see what they do with him. It's going to be interesting. But I think this is the perfect spot to get the best out of Travis Hunter. It's the New England Patriots. Number 5, Mason Graham to the Jaguars. I've had him as a top 5 pick probably most of my mocks. I think it's my 3rd one. I think I've had him in top 5, maybe all 3. I think he's a top 5, could be a top 5 player here. I mean, really good run defender, can have a little bit of that pass rush, and that's a game changing type player. The Jaguars need in their defensive line. Number 6 here, the Raiders. It's kind of interesting. They need a big play receiver, obviously outside of Brock Bowers, and I'm going to take Tatoria McMillan. I think he's the best receiver here. I think he's the only receiver that I think that can go top 10. So I'm gonna have him going to the Raiders because they need a guy outside of Brock Bowers. Because they don't really have that number 1 receiver, and Tatoria McMillan can be number 1. So the New York Jets is kind of interesting. Aaron Rodgers, I think, is coming back. I don't know. They could use an offensive tackle. I know Will Campbell, I think, is the best offensive tackle. Either him or Josh Simmons out of Ohio State. But I'm going to draft Will Campbell here. This could be a bit early. I don't know. But I think he's easily a first-round guy. And if he doesn't go 7th, he'll still probably go in like the top 15 or 20. The Panthers here, I think, take defense. They could take a safety here. I like Malachi Starks. But I'm going to take Mykel Williams, the other Georgia guy. They need an edge rusher. I think they should draft defense this whole draft. They're one of the worst defenses. I think you need to draft defense most of this draft. The New Orleans Saints at number 9. it's kind of a confusing spot because, you know, who do you take here? Because I don't know if either other receivers are worth taking here. Do you go with Ashton Jeanty, the best player available? Don't know. I mean, I don't know. It's kind of a confusing pick here. I'll say they'll take James Pierce Jr. out of Tennessee. It's maybe a bit early at number 9, but I think he's worth taking here. Number 10, the Bears. They need an offensive tackle. I think they take Calvin Banks Jr. I know it's hard to pass up Jeanty, but they need an offensive tackle. They need offensive line really bad to take Caleb. Number 11, the 49ers. I think they'll take Will Johnson. They need a cornerback, and I think he falls right to their spot. My Dallas Cowboys, easy Ashton Jeanty. I know there's other running backs in this draft, but he's a generational running back. The other running backs I think will be good, but I think he has the most potential to be the generational running back. And you know, they drafted, they hired Brian Schottenheimer, who's led the league in rushing twice, and he's a Boise State grad, so I think it makes sense. Number 13, the Miami Dolphins. They could use a safety. They kind of need some help offensively, but I'm going to say they'll take Nick Scourton out of Texas A&M here at 13. That could be a bit of a reach, but they could use an edge rusher. Tyler Warren to the Indianapolis Colts. They need another big-time player offensively. They really don't have that at tight end. They have a receiver with Pittman, Josh Downs. But they need that tight end. Tyler Warren can provide a big impact. The Atlanta Falcons, they can use a corner and safety. I think they will take Malachi Starks. He'll stay in Atlanta and go to the Falcons. Cardinals, I think they'll take Luther Burden here at 16. Number 17, the Bengals. They could use offensive line. I think they'll take, or they could use defense as well. I think they'll take Siobhan Revel. You didn't get to see much of him at East Carolina because he tore his, his ACL early in the season, but he's a very good corner that doesn't get talked about a lot. Definitely going to be an easy first rounder for me. Despite that injury, I think he's too talented to not be a first rounder. Seahawks, I think it's easy to take a guard here because that's one of the things they need. But for some reason, they don't like guards. For some reason, is what it feels like. But they need one, so I'll pick them here. Tyler Booker. They need a guard, but will they take him? I don't know. But I think it's what makes most sense. Buccaneers here at 19. They lost Liam Cohen in the offseason. Their offensive coordinator. They have Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, Jalen McMillan, I think. 3 good receivers right there. So I don't think receivers that big of a need. Well, we'll see if Chris Godwin returns and see what he looks like off that injury he suffered this season. They could also use some defense, and I think they'll take a linebacker here. I think it's kind of a steal here. Jalon Walker at 19. I think he could go higher than this. That's kind of how it fought on my third mock draft. Broncos, I think they could use another receiver. Because who else? They have Cortland Sutton. I mean, Troy Franklin if you get him involved more. But they could use a running back here. I don't know if there is another running back you want to take this early. They need a running back, though. If you don't get one in free agency, I think you need a running back. There's a lot of good running backs, though, in the second, probably throughout this whole draft, though. So, I mean, Matthew Golden can be an option. They could use another corner, Benjamin Morrison, or Ja'Day Grant. It's kind of a confusing pick here. But, you know what? I'll give the Broncos another weapon. Matthew Golden, receiver out of Texas, became their number 1 receiver this past season. Really rose up draft boards a lot. Steelers at 21. There's no quarterbacks worth taking. Emeka Egbuka, I will take at 21 here. They need a receiver. Will Emeka Egbuka fall this far? Maybe not. He's probably going to go higher than this, but it's kind of just how it fell. on my mock here. Chargers, where's he at? Colston Loveland. I have him, probably my tight end 2 behind Tyler Warren. That dude's good. He didn't get to show it much this past season because their quarterbacks were absolute garbage. But he can make big plays, and come on, their coach is John Harbaugh. Former Michigan coach, former Michigan player. Come on, simple pick. The Packers here, what is this, 23? It's kind of an interesting one. Man, I could see him needing a corner. I think they'll take, probably the best one here, Benjamin Morrison at 23. 24, the Vikings could use some offensive line help. And then their offensive line wasn't the problem last season. This season technically still, as the Super Bowl hasn't been played. But they still need to draft one. I think the best one to take here is Josh Simmons. I know he tore his ACL this past year. He had some injury concerns, but he's very good. Like, he would have been much higher than this if he didn't get a season-ending knee injury. The Texans' offensive line, easy. Cameron Williams, possibly. You could take here. I think the receivers are very good. They just need to be healthy. I mean, you're going to have Stephon Diggs. Well, Tank Dell's obviously hurt. Nico Collins, Stephon Diggs, you're 1 and 2. I think they need to take offensive line here, so I'll take Cameron Williams. Sometimes he does commit a lot of penalties, but I think this is what you gotta take offensive line here. The Rams, they could be potentially moving on from Cooper Kupp, which is interesting. I think they need to draft an offensive line as well. Their offensive line, they need to get one. I think Armand Membu out of Missouri is the guy they're taking. I'm doing this mock draft on my phone, by the way. I'm doing this mock draft on my phone, that's why. The Ravens. Maybe an offensive guard or offensive tackle. Maybe, but there's not really another one worth taking here, in my opinion. I think they could take... You know what, I'll give him Jahdae Barron here at 27. I think that's a steal, in my opinion. Jahdae Barron could easily be a top 15 guy. The Lions need some defense. I think they'll take Derek Harmon out of Oregon. It's mind-blowing how many mock drafts don't have him as a first-rounder that I've seen, but I think he's easily a first-rounder. I could also see him taking Mike Green out of Marshall. Derek Harmon's first-round guy. The Commanders, we are Commanders. Bum, 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 bum. It's kind of an interesting one. They need a cornerback. But, I mean, they could also use him maybe an edge rusher. But cornerback, you know what? I'll give Maxwell Hairston. I know I'm kind of biased because I love Maxwell Hairston. He was great at Kentucky while he was there. But they need a cornerback, and I think Maxwell Hairston's first-round guy. Once again, kind of biased, but he's really good man-to-man. Like, when he was healthy last season, he played well. Really well, actually. So, you know what? I think the Commanders need help at corner. Maxwell Hairston's a good guy to pick. The Bills, I think they'll take Nick Emanuori out of South Carolina. They need a safety, and I think that would be a steal at 30. These last two picks, Eagles, Chiefs, I'll do another mock because after the Super Bowl, these two picks will be flipped, but the Eagles are up first. What do they really need? I mean, Mike Green, they could use another edge rusher, especially if Bryce Huff, I think, is leaving in the offseason. Then Mike Green, the Chiefs. I think we'll get Kenneth Grant here, 32nd pick, and that is my full first round 3.0 mock draft. So, that's really all to say here. So, until next time, make a like, peace, leave a like, subscribe for more. And I don't know when my next mock draft will be, but this is my third one. I'll plan on at least doing 2 or 3 more. But, yeah, peace.